Okay, let's do some practice with dividing decimals. So when we use dividing decimals, we're usually talking about money often. So let's take a scenario if you go to the movies and one person gets there early and they buy all the tickets. So you've got a big group going. There are 12 people. And your friend spent $81. So the tickets, the total tickets, it costs, $81. But there were 12 people. Well, those 12 people owe that friend money so that they're not buying everybody's ticket. Well, that is a division problem. So we need to take the number 81 and divide it up 12 different ways. Notice there is no decimal on the outside, only on the inside. So let's treat it as a normal division problem, and then we'll worry about the decimal. If you do not know your 12s, you could go over to the side and write them down. 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, 84, and I've already passed 80. So I'm going to go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 12s. It did not go in 8, but it went in 81 6 times. 6 times 12 is 72. Subtract 9, bring down my 0. Now I'm looking at 12 into 90. I didn't get very far here. 84, this goes into, let's see, 106. No, 96. So 90 goes back to 84, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 12, 84. Subtract 6. I have another number to bring down. My new total is 60. Twelve goes into 60, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, evenly. My answer is 0, but I'm left with, where does my decimal go? Well, we didn't have to move the decimal at all because there was none on the outside. So all I have to do is look on the inside. My decimal is right here. I'm just going to move it up to the top of my house. And what that means is that each person owes their friend $6.75. Okay, let's give you another scenario, and you can try this one on your own. So you and some friends go to Disney. The gas costs $148.60. But you want to share that. It's not fair for one person to spring for gas. So you have 4 friends going. If you split that up into 4 friends, how many does each friend pay? Okay, so that's a division problem. My total is $148.60 divided up by 4 friends. Go ahead and pause the video, try it on your own, come back and check with me. Okay, so you should have tried this on your own. Remember, we're going to ignore the decimal for right now. 4 divided into 1 does not go in, but 4 divided into 14 goes in 3 times. 3 times 4, 12. 4 minus 2 is 2. Bring down your 8. 4 goes into 28. 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. That gives us 0, but I still have something to bring down. My new total is 6. 4 goes into 6 once. 1 times 4. Subtract. I still have another number to bring down. My new total is 20. 4 goes into 25 times. 5 times 4 is 20. I'm going to end up with 0. Nothing more to bring down, so I am done. Now, because we did not have a decimal outside, there's nothing to bring inside. The decimal is going to stay, and it goes up. That means that each person paid $37.15. And it shows why you need to be careful. See, I'm a little off where I put my 7. I didn't put it right over the 8, so my decimal ran into it. So it's really important that you put your numbers over the place value in which you divided by so that you know where that decimal sits. Okay, so let's try one when the decimal is on the outside. If we have a number like $1,625 and we want to divide that up and see how many $12.50 goes into. Well, now you notice we have a decimal on the outside. So first thing I'm going to do is get that decimal out of there. And again, just like multiplication, we move it. Count how many times? 1, 2 to get it out of there. Whatever I do outside, I'm going to do inside. I moved it over twice, so I'm going to move this decimal over twice. My new decimal is going to sit right there. Now you're going to divide like you normally would. 1,250 does not go into 1, does not go into 16, does not go into 162, but it does go into 1,625 once. Multiply it, I get 1,250, subtract, $375, bring down your 0. 1250 goes into 3750 3 times, and it's exactly, I'm left with 0, but I still have another 0 to bring down. 1250 goes into 0 0 times. No more to bring down. I am done. You have to pay attention to where your decimal is. Remember, I moved my decimal. It's now here on the end, so all I'm going to do is bring it up, put it on the end. My answer is 130. Okay, go ahead and let me give you another one and you can try it on your own. Let's say you're working at a job and you make $12.50 an hour and you want to save up for something big and you know that that item is going to cost $275. What you want to know is how long is it going to take? If you're making $12.50 an hour, how long is it going to take before you can buy your TV or game system or whatever it is that you're buying? Well, that's a division problem. So let's start with our 275. And we're dividing it by 1250. Okay, I'm going to start you out at first because this one's a little tricky. You notice we have a decimal on the outside but not on the inside. So same thing needs to happen. This needs to move over 1, 2. This needs to move over 1, 2. But how do you move over a decimal that's not there? Well, remember, this is 275. This is a whole number. If it's a whole number, the decimal sits right here because it separates the whole numbers from the decimals or the fraction of a number or the part. So if I were to take this and move it over 1, 2, I would have a new spot. The problem is what goes in this area here. Well, remember, we have to add zeros, which does not change the value because I just made it 275 and now it looks like $275. So here's my new, let me darken it, here's my new placement of my decimal. Now pause the video, go ahead and divide like you normally would, come back and check with me when you're done. Okay, so we have our 1250 and we're going to divide it into, now without the decimal, 27,500. Does not divide into 2 or 7 or 5, but it does go into 2,750 twice. If I multiply that, I get 2,500. Subtract, I get 250. Bring down my 0. My new total is 2,500. It goes in twice, evenly. I'm left with 0, nothing to bring down. But where is your decimal? Remember our decimal, the new placement was here, so I'm going to bring it up. The decimal is behind, that means it is a whole number. It will take me 22 hours to get the amount of money that I need for that, whatever that is you're buying.